So please welcome Britton Gilmore and her parents, Janet Schreibman and Jim Gilmore. Nice to have you all. So happy to meet all of you. And Britton, you were conceived, as we just heard, using an anonymous egg donor and your dad's sperm, by the way. And your parents, as we also heard, were very open about the fact that this is the process they went through to have you. How did they explain it to you?
Well, they always gave me info about it, and they read me a book as a child that told me about it. And they never kept me in the dark. They just answered all my questions that I had when I had them, and it was really helpful.
And there was a time did come, Britton, when you got more and more curious about your biological mother. You know, obviously, I know you love and adore your mom and dad.
Sure.
They love and adore you as well. But why was this important? What did you feel was missing?
I just felt that I had this whole family outside of my own family that I could be able to know, and not being able to know them was frustrating at times, but I was just so curious as to who I was and where I came from.
Well, I know that you started a journal 2 years ago as you began your search, and you were documenting your experience. And we brought an entry that I thought would be nice for you to read, because it really describes what you were going through while you were undertaking this whole process.
I talked to my mom. I told her everything I was feeling. I cried, she cried, we laughed. She helped me so much just by talking to me. I felt so alone in this, but now I know I have her to talk to, and I'm not alone. Over the course of 2013, I went through my ups and downs of not knowing my biological family. I have accepted that she won't be there to see me walk across the stage at graduation. She won't be there to see me marry someone I love. I know that she probably won't be there for these milestones, but she will always be here with me, even if I never meet her. I have the option to have this situation make me bitter or better, and I'm choosing the latter.
So when you know, obviously you talked to your mom about this, you were clearly, Janet, a great comfort to Britton, because you were kind of doing this on the QT, right? You know, you were not really telling your mom and dad what you were up to. And yet, how did it make you feel when she confessed this, that she had this burning desire to really find this person?
Well, there were times in the course of those 2 years that we did talk about it, and I did know she was searching. But I was really concerned, especially early on when she started the search, because I didn't want her to be set up for disappointment, because the files were locked, and I knew that there was potentially nothing that we could do.
And Jim, what did you think of this whole process? Did you realize that Britton sort of was struggling with all of this?
We discussed this from the very beginning, that we wanted to be very open with her, and we wanted to let her know her background. I knew that she, down the road, would be always wondering if she didn't find out. And I said, you know, anything, we both told her, anything we can do to help you, we will. It's going to be difficult before you become of age to get some of this information. And I had kind of stopped at that point, saying, okay, when she gets to be a little older, we can really pursue this thing, not knowing that she was going great guns on the side, looking for everything she could possibly find.
And in fact, it was, Janet, as you said, like trying to find a needle in a haystack for a while. But then, Britton, you almost had to become a private investigator, trying to kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah, well, I was looking for years, and I just decided to give up and just focus on school. And then I came across the donor sibling registry and her name, and it was just a miracle.
And finally, after jumping through hoops, Janet, you reached out to the fertility clinic. You realized that the person on this registry was, in fact, the egg donor, a woman named Joanna. And tell us about her.
Well, the first thing I did when I found out it was matches, I did not tell Britton. I told my husband, and then I researched how to get in touch with Joanna and see if she would friend me on Facebook. And then I asked her if I could have her phone number so that we could chat. And at that point I said, it's a match, but before I tell Britton, I really want to know what your boundaries are. She said, it's open. I want it totally transparent. And I said, we do too.
Well, 14 years ago, Wendy Kramer was helping her son Ryan search for his biological father because he was the product of a sperm donor. The process was so difficult, they decided to do something about that and start to connect children with the sperm and egg donors that helped create them. Wendy started the Donor Sibling Registry, which to date has connected over 11,000 people with parents, even siblings they never knew. So, Wendy, it's good to see you. And tell me, why is it so hard for donor-conceived parents, children rather, to locate their parents?
Right, there's a big disconnect in the industry. So they really, in the egg donation and in the sperm donation industry, they put a lot of effort into keeping people disconnected from each other. Children from their half-siblings, a little less so now, but certainly with their donors. So what we do in the Donor Sibling Registry is we acknowledge that these connections are very important for a variety of reasons, and we allow people like these guys to make mutual consent contact, because we believe if they want to meet each other or at least connect anonymously, they should be able to do that.
Well, I know that Jim and Janet and Britton, you all have communicated with Joanna through emails. I know you've had some brief phone conversations, but you're about to meet your biological mother for the very first time. How are you feeling about it?
I'm extremely excited and very nervous.
Yeah, and what about you, Janet and Jim? How are you feeling?
I'm just so grateful from the communication we've had with her that I think she is going to be such a positive influence in Britton's life
Oh, that's such a
and a
nice
really
thing.
good role model for
That's
her.
a nice thing to say, and I can tell you're a very generous person.
Oh,
because
well.
I might feel a little threatened if this new person came into my daughter's life. I mean, maybe I'm just not as nice as you are, but I might kind of feel like, wait a minute, this is my daughter. I've raised her, and now, you're coming in. Do you have any of those feelings?
Not really. I feel like it's going to add to Britton's life. I think it's going to be an enhancement.
Well,
I don't feel threatened because I think she is such a caring and loving person.
plus she gave you such a gift.
And how do you thank someone for something like that? I don't know how I'll ever be able to thank her.